So your new film, I'm Charlie Walker. For people who don't know who Charlie Walker is, who was he and what is the film about?
Charlie Walker was an entrepreneur, a black man in the 70s who owned a trucking company. He was a businessman like any other who was trying to make his way. And at the time in the 70s in San Francisco, there was a massive oil spill. Two Standard Oil tankers collided under the Golden Gate Bridge and washed oil onto many of the beaches. The individuals who were contracted to clean it up, trucking companies, the unions were separated, segregated. So there was a white union getting all of the business, and there was a black union that was getting nothing. Charlie Walker, as a black man, did not think that that was right, did not want to be a part of the black union, which was not receiving anything. And so he was petitioning to get some of this work. And through fates, the oil, which had washed to a certain place in the ocean, changed, and it washed its way onto a small beach, which was a beach which the white truckers union had ceded to Charlie Walker as a way to, I guess, appease him, but suddenly it was ground zero for a massive cleanup. And he was more effective in cleaning up the oil and thus became a hero of the oil cleanup, climate. Well, at that time it wasn't climate change; it was pollution experts, and then there was the nascent green movement descended on this because oil spills were beginning to be a problem, and so he was a hero. But both Standard Oil and, of course, the White Truckers Union felt very threatened by this, and so they came after him, and they came after him hard. And the film is about the way in which he took on the biggest, most powerful individuals in the world and effectively received justice. He also led the way for a number of people who were suddenly emboldened by the idea that, oh my goodness, there is a way to challenge what is, which had hitherto been untenable and sort of an impossible situation. And I think Charlie Walker is the kind of individual who looked at the situation and said, yes, it's impossible, but were it not impossible, what would it look like? So that's the story of that film. My character in the film, I play a gentleman named Willie, who obviously feels that Charlie Walker is a champion in a lot of ways because of what he's doing. And so he is aligned with him, but it's too bold. And Willie has come up in a generation of Black people who were trained not to raise your head, not to push back too hard, not to generate resentment, to find just a niche, a place to hold on and cling there and not try to ascend, just try not to fall off. And so he's too afraid and he can't move forward with Charlie. So it's a quite small role in terms of its relative size, but for me, it represented a very important point because there were tremendous numbers of Black people and white people doing heroic things during that particular period of time in this country. And there were a number of people who were not doing what we think of as heroic deeds, but they were hanging on. They were clinging. They were surviving the best way they could. And they were, I think, an argument against a system that claimed to be fair and equal.
Now, around that time, that decade, the early 70s, 71, when this happened, you were, with all due respect to you now, a young man. And the 70s, it wasn't a particularly enlightened decade. So what you see sort of going on in this film, what your character faces in this film, did that coincide with any of your experiences during that era?
Um, well, not exactly my experiences, because I think uh, while while I would not call myself the boldest individual, I did not. I was raised not to have a sense of limit. That I was not contained in the way that Willie is contained. And so my experience in the 70s, I graduated university in 73. I started off as a journalist. For 2 years, I did public relations work for a pretty large company, a corporation in my hometown, and determined definitively that corporate life was not for me. So in a series of happy accidents, I found acting. And what I found first was political comedic satire. It was a small company, and given that time, we were a voice against and examining and exploring what was going on around us. So that would have been 77, 70, no, sorry, that would have been 75, 76, 77. And then I left that small town and moved to the west coast of the United States, San Francisco. And through another set of happy accidents, auditioned for an Athol Fugard play, Sizwe Banzi is Dead. And it was a two-hander, and the other actor was a gentleman named Danny Glover. And we began performing it and took it up and down the coast, ended up in Los Angeles, got agents. Not sure whatever happened to him, but
I think he's done all right. I think he's done all right for himself.
yeah, so I hear, Simon. So I hear. No,
Look,
still a dear friend, and literally that was what got me involved in it. And one of the reasons I bring that up is because that was 1977, and at that time, I don't think of myself as politicized. I'm I'm kind of not doing what I thought I was going to be doing for a living. I'm trying to learn as much as I can because I was not trained to do it in school. I was an English major. So there were a lot of things grabbing my attention. One of them became the responsibility as someone who called himself an artist to reflect the times around him, to make decisions and to take stands about what was going on for himself, for me, so that I could move through the world with kind of integrity. And I tried to do that as best I can. No one's perfect, Simon. But I think I carried that into my work, and that is what has carried me along in the work. The sense that it's both, I don't take myself that seriously, but I take the work I do very seriously. So
now,
here, some decades later, I'm still trying.
well, you've got a pretty extensive career behind you, and you're working with Mike Colter in this, another great actor. Now, you share a common denominator here in that you've both worked for Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
So, are you finding that you are exchanging notes about Marvel and your experiences with that? Or is it kind of like, no, we can't talk shop?
Definitely the latter. And I haven't spoken with Mike in some time now, but I admire so much what he's done, and every once in a while we have perhaps an email exchange or a text exchange. this film, I think, is a testament to the kind of work I'm talking about in terms of what I was trying to do, in terms of what Mike pulls off in this film. Charlie Walker is definitely a hero, but as I said, like so many of us, there are many sides to him, and different people understood him in different ways. And so there's a way in which he's not a black and white character. And everyone, tries to play nuance. But I think Mike does a beautiful job of playing an individual who is very, very singular in purpose and not limited in the ways he thinks about gaining the advantages he needs. So for some people, he might have been manipulative or slightly, well, certainly ambitious, but arrogant, unkind, because he was going for something, and he couldn't bring everyone along. But when he got where he was going to make it right for as many people as he could. And I think that Mike brings that kind of balance and play and power to Charlie Walker in a way that I really respect. And I'm very, very happy that the film, which was a very small film, found a life. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate our director, Patrick, who carried this thing proudly, had held high with the same kind of zeal, I think, that Charlie Walker moved through in life. But Patrick is a different force, so it's more like lava and less like a rushing river.